It is hard to tell a story when your main method of conversation is two characters punching each other in the face. Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, the Hinokami Chronicles, is no exception to this common fighting game problem, with a single-player mode that never quite nails the balance between telling its excellent story and making that story actually fun to play. Fortunately, its arena-based combat is fast, satisfying, and strikes a nice balance between approachability and depth, especially in multiplayer.
Beast breathing, perfect! Devour!
The Hinokami Chronicles follows the same plot as the Demon Slayer anime it's adapted from, following Tanjiro and Nezuko Kamado after demons murder their family. Much of this story is retold through immaculately rendered in-game cutscenes, all of which are fully voiced in English and Japanese. The cutscenes can run a little long between fights, but it's a small price to pay when they're delivering heartbreaking moments in performances like this.
I'll never forget you. No matter what, you will always be in my heart. So please, forgive me. I beg you.
When the Hinokami Chronicles makes you explore the Demon Slayer world between cutscenes, however, it becomes a drag. That's a shame because playing through the roughly 10-hour story is the only reasonable way to unlock every playable character. Each chapter sends you across a linear series of maps, completing quests, talking to other characters, and solving simple puzzles. You can also collect memory fragments, short movies from the anime, and Kimestsu points, which unlock rewards like characters, costumes, quotes, art, and songs from the great soundtrack. That may sound fine, but really, it's a slog. Characters move through the world way too slowly, and sometimes dialogue will slow them down even further. The maps are uninteresting too, with some featuring no interactions at all, and even when they do, the conversations aren't all that riveting. There are occasional flashes of something clever, navigating a house that is constantly shifting, or playing some fun minigames.
Going! Push!
But outside of cutscenes, the bulk of the story mode activities are tolerated rather than enjoyed.
Prepare yourself!
To keep things entertaining, areas are peppered with fights against a handful of nameless demons, as well as an occasional big and flashy boss fight. The fighting is where the Hinokami Chronicles really shines. It's an arena fighter, pitting teams of two against one another in small 3D environments, though the story mode often features one-on-one bouts. The combat controls are simple and intuitive. Normal attacks are mapped to one button and special moves to another. You can press the stick in a direction to either perform different specials or one of 3 unique combos. Each fighter has plenty of other interesting options too, able to throw, dash, use ultimate arts, perform heavy attacks, and activate 2 special power-ups, Boost and Surge.
I won't give up.
Boost powers up your attacks and adds an extra combo route, while Surge gives your character unlimited meter for a short time. In 2-on-2 battles, your teammate can provide assists with their own special moves or even rescue their partner mid-combo. Swapping between team members is also possible, provided you have some assist gauge, and health is shared between characters. It's an easy combat system to learn, but there is depth in the form of parrying attacks and chaining combos together. Landing attacks just feels good too, with even basic combos packing a satisfying punch. And plus, just look how cool this looks.
Esoteric art! Ninth form! Rengoku! That's enough!
The combat is incredibly satisfying, but it does have a few small issues. Since heavy attacks are performed by flicking the stick forward and pressing the attack button, it's easy to accidentally do a regular attack instead. Another issue stems from the combo gauge, which tracks how long a fighter can maintain a combo. The gauge exists to limit the infinite combos that plagued CyberConnect 2's Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm games, and while it's a good balance addition, it doesn't make exception for moves with multiple hits. When the gauge is depleted, a combo stops immediately, even if a character would otherwise be hit or is in the middle of a move with multiple strikes. That means the time limit feels more arbitrary for some characters than others. Mistime your gauge, and a character can sometimes drop out of a combo mid-attack, recover, and punish the person still recovering from a move that would normally hit before they can do anything about it. Like the heavy attack input, it's not a huge flaw, but certainly a noticeable little irritation. Story mode fights are high intensity, pitting Tanjiro and friends against demons with unique moves and power-ups. The fights work the best when the demons you're up against play like standard characters. Larger, more unique bosses are still entertaining, but their moves cover so much space, you're mostly just playing defense and waiting for an opening. Bosses can knock you back at will, and their version of boost mode makes their moves substantially more powerful and essentially immune to being staggered. Since boosted attacks will damage you even when you're guarding, you'll spend most of that portion of the fight running away until boost wears off, and you can do this.
I'm way stronger than you'll ever be!
But many of the boss battles, especially the later ones, are excellent, and require an understanding and execution of mechanics. Even the QuickTime events, known as Final Clashes, are a satisfying way to end encounters.
Thunder breathing. First form. Thunderclap and flash.
Best of all, you can replay any fight without redoing the map sections once you've beaten it. There's not a lot of single-player replay value beyond collectibles, but multiplayer is probably where you'll spend most of your time anyway. It supports both local and online play, and the pre-launch online worked pretty well, even coast to coast. There's always some delay, but a good connection should see you through most matches fine. That said, multiplayer makes the Hinokami Chronicles slim launch roster much more noticeable. There are only 18 characters, and only 12 of those are entirely unique. The remaining 6 are basically gags that play exactly the same as their normal version, apart from having a different ultimate art.
I need to inspect your uniform.
What's with that dangerous thing? Get away from me! That's enough!
Many of the other characters can also share similar and sometimes identical special moves. Each feels different enough, but 12 unique characters is an uncomfortably small roster. Developer CyberConnect 2 has promised to add 6 more as free DLC, but it's hard to know how much that will help when we don't know how they play or when they're arriving. Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, the Hinokami Chronicles, is a wonderful retelling of the already excellent Demon Slayer anime, even if its inconsistent story mode isn't as much fun to play as its cutscenes are to watch. Still, it's an impressive arena fighter where it counts, with combat that definitely balances depth and accessibility, but a disappointingly small roster does hold its multiplayer back from being truly great at launch. For more fighting games, check out our review of Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. And for everything else, keep it here on IGN.
Please excuse me. Stop right there. Now how's this?